COVID-19 pandemic has left this class empty for almost 8 months. I miss teaching here, seeing students studying, and chatting with friends. But by online learning, we can fully see all of these activities. I am Annisa Firdausy, an English teacher of UKin Praktik, will present online learning practice video. Enjoy watching.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, good students.
Good morning.
How are you this morning? How are you this morning?
I am fine.
Always, I hope you all given health wherever and whenever you are. Alright class, let's say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim for beginning our activity. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, I have shared a presence link on the classroom. So let's well, students, let's restore your spirit by playing brain gym. Do you still remember the gesture of brain gym? Okay, let's play. Good pupils, most of you can following the gestures before we start our new topic, let's review the last material in the last meeting. What have you learned in the last meeting? Do you still remember? What have you learned?
Announcement.
Okay. What are key features of announcement? There are
Definition. How to make definition.
Structure, purpose, and
how to make
an announcement. Good. Okay. Now we will continue our material. Let me show the learning objectives. We'll share screen. experience. So the learning objectives is melalui penggunaan model problem-based learning, peserta didik dapat menganalisis, menyusun, dan menampilkan teks lisan dan tulis yang melibatkan tindakan memberi dan meminta informasi terkait keadaan atau tindakan atau kegiatan kejadian yang dilakukan atau yang telah terjadi di waktu lampau yang merujuk pada waktu terjadinya dan kesudahannya. Dalam memperhatikan fungsi sosial, struktur teks, dan unsur kebahasaan secara benar dan sesuai konteks dengan penuh tanggung jawab, jujur, dan disiplin. So you have to able in analyzing, arranging, and presenting the transactional text, either written or spoken about past experience. Ya, what is past experience? Apa? Pengalaman yang
Lalu.
Iya, pengalaman
Yang lalu.
Now look at the pictures. Now look at the pictures. Are you familiar with these pictures? What is picture 1? What about the 2?
Monas. Dan di Borobudur.
Yang ini apa yang ini?
Pantai.
Pulau Dewata or Bali. Next. Pantai. Pangandaran ya? Terus yang ini?
Candi Borobudur.
Oke. Have you ever been to the places? Pernahkah kalian pergi ke tempat-tempat itu?
Yes.
Sama Ica. Ica, have you ever been to Bali?
Yes, I have.
Wow. Have you ever been to Bali? Good. Yes, I have. When did you go there, Ica? Okay, Ica. When did you go there? Asni, Asni, have you ever been to Central Java?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, good. Have you ever been to? So you have ever been Borobudur?
Yes. I have.
Yes, I have. What have you done there? Rahma, have you ever been to Bali? No,
I have not.
Okay, no, I have. It's okay. Iya. Dina Tahara, have you ever been to Jakarta?
No.
Oh, no, I have. Okay. Mia, have you ever been to Pangandaran Beach?
Yes, I have.
Good. When did you go there?
Here.
Oh, 1 year ago. And what have you done there?
Vacation.
Oh, vacation. Good. Okay, now let's listen the audio.
Hi.
Have you ever been to Pangandaran Beach?
Yes, I have.
When did you go there?
I went there last week.
What did you do there?
I stayed at the hotel. I swam at the beach and bought some handicrafts from shells.
Wow, you bought some handicrafts. Was it expensive?
It was expensive, but I have been interested in it. I have collected it.
How long have you collected it?
I have collected it for 10 years, since I was a senior high school student.
Oh, I see.
After visiting there, I felt happy and I got some experience.
Okay, can you catch the dialect content? Bisakah menangkap isi dari dialognya?
Kurang jelas, Bu.
Oh, kurang jelas. Okay. Okay, if you can catch the content of the dialect, so let's listen again.
school student.
Oh, I see.
After visiting there, I felt happy and I got some experience.
What do you think about the dialect?
Aman nih pengalaman.
Oh, pengalaman. Yes, there is a tale that is told about the past experience. Okay, what verbs can you find in the dialect? Ica, coba.
Good.
Gone. Good. Asni, what verb can you find? When. Reni, what verbs can you find in the dialect? Can you hear?
Saud.
Thought. Good. Okay. Verb. Okay. What kind of verbs are they? Sama dengan verb 3. Verb 3 itu sama dengan past participle. Okay, because we are learn about past experience, so the verb learn is verb 3 or past participle. Alright, students, after this meeting in Google Meet, please learn the material that I have shared in Google Classroom, and you can search another information for the other sources from internet or ebook. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for joining, students. Let's move to Google Classroom. See you.
A common problem students have is understanding the present perfect simple and the past simple. Which one should we use? When should we use it? The good news is, although they can be confusing at first, they're actually quite simple once you understand their differences. Let's take a look at the present perfect simple first. The present perfect simple has 3 functions. We use it to talk about past events, recent past events, and unfinished states. The first function is talking about past events. To understand the past events function, let's use a timeline. So on the left, we have the past. In the middle, we have the present. And on the right, we have the future. The present perfect simple indicates that something happened in the past, but we don't know when it happened. We just know that it happened sometime in the past between the day that you were born until now. Let's use an example here using the sentence, I've been to Australia. This means that sometime in the past you went to Australia. Now, be careful of the difference between being and gone. Gone means that you went there, but you're still not back yet. Being means that you went there and then you left. And of course, we don't know when you went. It could have been last year or 10 years ago. So when someone asks you, have you been to Australia? It means, have you been there any time from the day that you were born until now? We often use never to emphasize negatives and ever to emphasize our questions about past events. So for example, have you ever been to America? No, I've never been to America. The second function of the present perfect simple is talking about recent past events. We can also use just, already, and yet for emphasis. For example, Mum, have you finished cooking dinner yet? Yes, boys, I've just made your favorite. And finally, the third function of the present perfect simple is talking about unfinished states. Just remember, we use for a period of time. For example, for an hour, for 2 days, for the last 10 years. And we use since for a starting point of time. For example, since last night, since 3 months ago, since the 1980s. Let's take a look at our timeline again so we can understand this better. On our timeline, we have the past, present, and future. The boy met the girl at a certain point in the past, and they still know each other in the present, which is during their date at the restaurant. But they have known each other for 2 weeks, which means they met 2 weeks ago. On the other hand, the past simple has only one function, that is, to talk about finished events where the time is known. In this scene, although the time is not mentioned, both the boy and his mother know the time of the date. The mother asked her son how his date was because she already knew that he was going on a date. Also, we can use just for emphasis that an event recently happened. So in this example, the boy could have said, "We just broke up." Now, let's take a look at the form for present perfect simple statements. So the form is subject plus have or has or their negative form plus never, just or already. These words are optional. Plus past participle plus whatever you want to write plus for, since, yet, or time words such as before, recently, and lately. Again, these are optional. Let's take a look at some examples. I've been to Australia. The subject is I plus have plus the past participle been plus to Australia. I've never been to America. Here we used never before the past participle. I haven't made dinner yet. Here we used yet at the end of the sentence. We've known each other for 2 weeks now. Here we used for 2 weeks now at the end of the sentence. Now let's have a look at the form for present perfect simple questions. For open questions, the form is WH or how question word plus have, has or their negative form plus the subject plus past participle plus whatever you want to say plus for. Now the for is optional. For yes-no questions, the form is have, has or their negative form plus the subject plus ever, which is optional, plus the past participle plus whatever you want to say plus yet or a time word. Again, these are optional. Remember, WH and how question words and for are for open questions. Ever, yet, and time words are for yes-no questions. Let's have a look at some examples. Have you been to Australia? So we start the question with have plus the subject you plus ever plus the past participle been plus to Australia. Have you finished cooking dinner yet? Here we used yet. How long have we known each other for? Here we began the question with how long and ended it with for. So, to summarize, we use the present perfect simple for past events, recent past events, and unfinished states. And we use the past simple for finished events where the time is known.
recently have restructured the company into three divisions. Wow, that's quite a change. Yes, and we have changed our distribution channel. We're only using 12 distributors now. Really? Yes, and instead of doing our own hiring, we are now using personal recruiters. You can concentrate on expanding your service that way. It's one